All right, guys, you know how much trouble I've had finding lever locks as I start learning how to pick them. I'm working in the shadows. I'm working with very obscure dealers on eBay. I'm even buying locks like this one from dealers that are located in India and Pakistan. That's how far I got to go to find these things. And I'll leave it up to you to decide if it's worth it. This is the Superfine 7 levers. A lot of things on here to lead you to believe that. 7 levers. We got all these 7s stamped up here. Very, very heavy lock and obviously put together permanently. This thing is all brushed. You can see the side plate here, center plate, another side plate, all welded and then ground down, rebrushed. And on the back, they certainly didn't want the back of this to fall off. All those are steel pins that have been peened over and then welded and then ground down again. So this thing is not going to be falling apart anytime soon. Same on the other side. I've kind of drawn some lines here to indicate where the plates are located, and we'll talk about that stuff in just a minute. When you slide this up, obviously you've got your keyway, and then again, it leaves you to indicate pretty high quality. I mean, it's shiny, right? Got to be high quality. Well, you got a post here, or a pipe for a piped key, and a very tight little keyway. Here's what your key looks like. 7 levers, slide it in, give it a little rotate, works perfectly, and then this is really tight, but he does come open. That thing does not move. I think it's pinched a little bit tight. With time, it would probably loosen up a little bit. So let's lock him back up. Get that key out of there, and he is locked. All right. Let's talk about this. It says 7 levers, and if there's 7 levers in here, this is kind of what the layout would look like. When we take the key and we slide him all the way into the keyway, like so, and we begin to turn him, the very end of this key, let me mark it with my fingernail to show where we're at. So mark it right there, slide him out and put him right there. And you notice the very end of that key is lined up with that red mark, which is the bolt. And when you begin to turn the very end of that key, the terminal end or the last position, he's going to engage in a little slot in that bolt called the talon. And it's going to tension the lock, tension all of these levers, and then allow us to get in there and pick them. Very cool. Now, as I said, I'm learning this. I'm a newbie at this, so I'm learning a lot from a guy named Andy Mack. He's got a YouTube site. He's got about 500 videos, and I'm plowing through those things as fast as I can. And Andy, and every one of them is a little nugget of information, some little lever lock secret that you kind of mine out of there. And this is one of the things I saw it, and it didn't click until I got this lock in. Let's talk about it. So I got this lock. I pulled the key out. I said, okay, this lock works. I'm going to take my tensioner. I'm going to slide him in there. I'm going to rotate him. It's nice. It's tensioned right there. Now I'm just going to try to pick him. But you notice he's not quite turned level. And when I turn that key, and I didn't pick up on this right away, it took a little while, you feel like you're tensioning the lever. And right at the end, it feels like it locks in, but it still remains springy. So I was kind of picking him cockeyed, and I got nowhere. After about 30 seconds, I realized something wasn't right. And let's figure it out. I'm going to take my thumb again and place him right there and extract the key straight out. And let's put him up here. That's how far he goes in. I'm trying to line this up through the camera lens. But you notice when I push him up to the fingernail, based on the depth, and you can see the depth, how deep I went in order to drill this key to fit a piped lock. He went that far. So if I'm pushing him in that far, you notice that the terminal end never reaches that bolt. He never gets a chance to engage inside of the talon. It doesn't even reach that bolt. So when I'm tensioning it, I was really tensioning some deep cut levers back here somewhere, maybe lever, 5 or 6, somewhere in there, but I was never going to be able to pick this lock open. As soon as I realized that, that's when it clicked. Andy Mack's lesson. So here's what you got to do. I can do one of two things. I could have drilled this deeper, and I didn't really want to do that because the further you go, the weaker this becomes. So what I did is I took one of the original keys, and by the way, there's what your bitting looks like. You got your terminal end. You got probably one low cut there, and then it stair steps down, I guess about 3 cuts, and then starts back up. So I'm counting a total of 5, maybe 6, and then maybe some real low cuts here towards the end. But when I look at this key, notice how the further towards this end we get, the less refined. I mean, it never was very refined, even at the best end. But over here, it's even more rustic than before. It's almost like it was shaped with a couple of rocks. It just almost looks like it was sheared off. So either they're very low cut or not. I really was at a loss. So what I did is I took my extra key. Again, these are all marked. They're all little tricks to lead you to believe, with the number of 7s, that this must be 7 levers. Let's find out. I took the other key. I filed off everything except the terminal end. It is the same key as that one. And so the depth is absolutely correct. Again, using the fingernail. So when I slide him in, he now tensions on the bolt exactly the way he's supposed to. So if you have a blank key, truly, this is the way to go. Use an original key for the lock if you got it. Another one of Andy Mack's tips. I'm going to leave this right here so you guys don't forget this guy. I've learned so much from him. He was so kind. When I started asking questions, just to give you an idea, I was telling him how difficult it is to find locks and picks here in North America. In the mail arrives all kinds of blanks, and he went to the trouble to even pre-cut some of these to show me how it was done. Just a very, very kind thing for him to do. He sent me some tensioners. He saw how much trouble I was having with wires because I had no idea what they're supposed to look like. So this is what he did. He sent me a little envelope with a complete set of wires, left and right, all beautifully finished. So now I'm not going to use these. These are becoming my new pattern, all thanks to Andy Mack. And then he sent me these guys, overlifters. I would not even, first of all, I don't know how to use them yet, but I will. But I know when I start learning, I'm going to be using a proper tool. So that removes one variable from my learning curve. Again, thanks to Andy Mack. I encourage you, if you're trying to learn lever locks, go check it out. I don't regret it. I really appreciate everything he's done for me. Anyway, enough about that. Let me go ahead and clamp this up. I'm going to use the key that was the original that I filed down. He will be my tensioner. And let's see if we can get this 7-lever lock open. All right, guys, I think that will hold it. Let's make sure. I'm going to slide this up here, but it kind of catches on that rivet, so it's not really going to fall down on me, so I don't need to tape it. Let's take the key, slide it in, unlock, and pry that thing open. It does work. Let's lock it back. And it is locked. All right, I'm going to take the tensioner that I made out of one of the original keys and put it in a tool that Andy Mack made for me. Pretty simple tool, simple to make. So if you guys are looking to get into this lever locking, picking, it's really not that difficult. Rotate him around just to make sure he's free, and he is. Cool. And then I'm also going to take this guy, one of the wires that Andy Mack made for me, as well as a lollipop holder. It's kind of nice because when you orient it sideways, you know which way your wire is pointing. No guessing. As if you're holding a round one, it's kind of hard to determine that. But this little flat one, lollipop, does work pretty good. So slide him in, kind of get him aligned, and rotate everything around. Come on. It's still tight, as you can tell. It pinches that wire because even by filing that off, it's still a pretty tight little fit. I'm going to hold light tension, slide him all the way to the rear, and try to find the disc. So light tension. There's a fault set. And there we go. All right, guys, I'm not trying to mislead you, and I won't. This is clearly not as advertised. This is not a 7-pin. When I was sliding that wire in and out, you probably saw I only had to make minor adjustments in and out. I only feel 3 levers in this lock. And of course, it's advertised as 7 levers. So what we're seeing here is the Pakistani or perhaps the Indian equivalent of Master Lock, where they advertise super security. And in fact, it's nowhere near that. What a disappointment. $60 and 3 weeks worth of waiting for this. So what I'm going to do is we're going to do some relabeling here. So it says Superfine. So I would mod that with not so Superfine. And then instead of 7 letters, that would be 3. That's 3 levers. So it's kind of correct. They just forgot to put some of the words and extend that number down so that it's correct. What a piece of caca. Man. 3 weeks and $60. What a waste. All right, guys, don't always believe what you say, what you see on eBay, obviously. Watch who you're buying from. India and Pakistan, I won't be buying from them anymore. One crooked dealer kind of ruins it for all of them. Anyway, guys, I appreciate your time. Stay safe, stay legal, and if you want this, leave a comment. First comment asking for it gets it. Thanks, guys. I've produced over 200 videos a year for the last several years and would really appreciate your support. All I'm asking is you subscribe, click on the like button for each video, and share them on social media. That's it. Thanks, guys.